Welcome to Real Deal. I'm Tara.
And I'm Giselle.
And today we are talking about the 2024 film Conclave, directed by Edward Berger. After the unexpected death of the Pope, Cardinal Lawrence is tasked with managing the convert and ancient ritual of electing a new one. Sequestered in the Vatican with the Catholic Church's most powerful leaders until the process is complete, Lawrence finds himself at the center of a conspiracy that could lead to its downfall. Let's talk about this cast. It is stacked, you guys.
We have Rafe I cannot even talk.
Just move on from
Rafe Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, Isabella Rossellini,
Beautiful.
Lucien Masmati, Carlos Diaz, Sergio Castellito, Brian F. O'Byrne, and Merab Niniditsi?
Nininze is what it looks like.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Conclave was based off of a 2016 novel of the same name by Robert Harris. Just something I wanted to include because we have lots of respect for our films based on books on this pod.
That's true. And this has a really high Letterboxd score, coming in at 3.9. It is one of the most fan-favorited movies of this month. And I have to say, it was definitely one of mine.
Absolutely deserved. Absolutely deserved. I want to start off the bat by saying, I understand that with all of the releases out lately, you see a religious thriller. And I will say that the trailer doesn't even really make it look like a thriller either. It's really? A little vague. I feel like it's a little vague.
That's so funny. Maybe it was like a Catholic thing. Because I grew up Catholic. And I watched the trailer with my Catholic grandma, and we were like, we have to see this.
Got it, yeah, girl, because I wasn't picking up on that. I was like, oh, looks interesting. But I feel like to the average audience member, you're like, that looks boring. Lots of old men, religion.
Yeah, but
I'm snoring.
I swear to God, this is so
Y'all go
funny,
cunty. It was cunty. They were messy.
They were messy, and they were serving us looks.
Yeah.
They were serving us major Catholic looks, and
it was beautiful too.
Yeah.
Beautifully shot. Score crazy.
Plot twists here and there.
Yeah. It was like Gossip Girl, y'all, but religious.
That's true. If you don't really know about Catholicism, there is a city in Rome, and it's Vatican City. That's where the Pope lives and resides. And it's a closed-off city for the most part. I think they do allow tourists there, but it has their own residents. And so there is this, spoiler, sort of rift that's going on after the Pope dies of the people in Vatican City sort of having a rebellion, and that's happening outside of the setting of the Cardinals all being sequestered. And if you don't know what sequestered means, it just means like pretty much they have to be secluded from the rest of the Vatican City.
Like if you were voting in the 2024 election, but everyone was like, you can't leave your house or use the internet or use your phone for 4 days until you vote. Yeah. And we all need to vote for the same majority person, and we gonna keep voting every day until we get there.
Yeah, so that is what happens. You gotta keep voting until everyone's on the same majority. And, we start off with Cardinal Lawrence, who is already like kind of fading out of the realm of his cardinalhood. He is questioning his faith. He no longer really wants to be a part of this. He's telling other people he's gonna leave. And also this movie opens up, again, spoiler, on like such a great note with like the death of the Pope.
Yeah. And I think you really get an idea of the kind of setting and the politics at play here, because they are immediately kind of having these closed discussions and secretive whispers. The body not even in the truck yet.
No.
Like, that shit's going up and down the road, and they're already scheming and planning and already trying to elect Tucci to be, the next Pope, Bellini. And he's already like, I don't want that shit. False, by the way.
But who does want it? John Lithgow's character, Tremblay. Yes, he wants it bad. And so does Tedeschi and Adeyemi. Or Tedesco and Adeyemi, and they are like Cardinal Tedesco is from Italy. He's like, we need a new Italian pope. Like, there hasn't been an Italian pope in over 40 years. He, like, has this crazy swagger to him, but everyone kind of dogs him behind his back. Also, some really great scenes with him.
Vaping.
Vape
scenes, you guys.
That are just,
not
like,
what you would expect in this movie.
Literally hilarious. And I just love this movie. Everything that comes out about them all in the end is, like, just crazy.
Juicy.
Yeah.
I think it's extremely timely, too. This is a great movie to watch. Personally, I watch this as, like, let me get away from election content.
I do have to say, I didn't really understand that was what this was about.
What do you mean?
Like, women's rights.
Yeah, I think the way that it tied in for me is, like, you have this very clear division in belief and two ways that the church could move forward. So you have Bellini, who wants to take it in a more progressive stance with theology, and he wants to give women a more important role. And everyone else is like, oh, don't say that, because you're not going to win shit if you say that.
Yeah, and Cardinal Lawrence is the one that's, like, on his side as well.
Yeah, and you've got more liberal views in terms of the church and moving forward. And then you have Tedesco, who pretty much represents the old-fashioned way of doing things, who wants to take things back to the Italian way of doing things. We don't need to give women all of this. We don't need to have diversity and champion that and respect all these other religions. Like, why are we spending so much time doing that? This is the reason we're having problems. So it's very interesting to kind of have these two different practices and these ways of seeing Catholicism. And I think you could really relate that to the election in the sense that you have a candidate who is really trying to move backwards with the country and another one who is trying to move forward in a more progressive way. And you're just trying to elect the person that is the least awful, because the people who don't want it, the people who would be the best candidates, are not options. That's my little stance on that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, you know, it follows Cardinal Lawrence in, like, a really brilliant way too, because he's also leading the sequestering, and so you're kind of like, why isn't this guy just, like, become the Pope?
And you can vote for him too.
Yeah, and people do start voting for him, and he's like, wait, I don't want this.
Don't
Leave me alone. He's like,
me.
I don't want your vote. When he's like, I don't want your vote.
Honey, I sat up. I said,
no, that was crazy.
And then he said, oh, well, you have it anyway. I said, damn.
Oh my God.
Come on, man.
Yeah, could not let up on our boy Cardinal Lawrence.
Go.
Like, and then the scene where he's like, you know what? Maybe I am kind of the shit.
No, yeah.
Writes his own name,
like
votes for himself. Bomb goes off.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
What a sign.
Literally.
What
and
a
I feel
sign.
like that's happened to me in life.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, maybe. And then I'm like, I'm gonna sit back down. Yeah.
You're like, actually, God, I did hear you. And I'm gonna sit my ass back in my chair.
Yeah, I was
no
so in the
need
shot.
for a bomb. Like,
No.
we're good. The sign was very fucking clear. Very clear. I think one of my favorite moments in this movie is when Cardinal Lawrence is giving that speech and goes off book. I sat up in the theater, as did all the other cardinals in the room during his speech while they were sequestered, because they were like, oh, he's spitting. And he's talking about, like, let our next pope be one that sins, you know, one that feels guilt, one that can make mistakes, because then he will have a need for faith and he'll have a need for belief. You know, like, the real evil is certainty. Spitting.
Real.
Spitting. Obama's speechwriter, I see where your next job was. Clearly. Spitting.
Yeah, Cardinal Lawrence was the shit.
Yeah.
Was there anything about this movie you didn't like?
Honestly, no. I don't think there was. I mean, it is silly, I want to say. Like, it is a silly movie. Like, you would think that something about religion is a little bit more serious. But there are moments that are, like, outrageously funny. Like, you gotta give it to them. It's a little comedic. And I enjoyed that, though. I thought that it was refreshing.
Well, I mean, this is a 3-hour-long movie. I saw a lot of people say that were a lot of haters
Was it?
say
3 hours?
Yeah. It did not feel like 3 hours.
No, it didn't.
I don't think so, and I think that's partially because everyone is so criminally good. And, like,
because you can
also
feel
it's funny.
3 hours. I did watch We Live in Time, and that felt like its runtime. I loved it, but I felt it.
I'd rather watch this 4 times than Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Oppenheimer did feel...
It felt like 3 hours.
I also think that this felt approachable in terms of language. And
Yeah.
I did read some reviews from Catholic churches, obviously say that this is like an abomination, etc., etc. But for someone who is not Catholic, I was like, oh, wow, I am learning so much. Obviously, I'm taking it with a grain of salt. It's a fucking book. Like, it's not going to be
Yeah.
a true story that happened. But I think with Oppenheimer, you know, there is a lot of moments in there where I was like, I'm a little lost.
Right.
Historically, I'm gonna need someone to tell me what the fuck just happened because I'm not following. But with this, I feel like I understood it. I followed it. It didn't feel like 3 hours to me.
Oh, sorry, I meant 2 hours.
Girl, I was gonna say 3's insane.
No, it was like 2 hours straight.
It was good.
It was good.
It was good. I liked it. I think it's exciting. I think we could predict a nomination here or there.
I hope it does get one. I don't know how many Oscars Ralph Fiennes has gotten, but
I don't know either.
if he hasn't gotten one, I feel like this is a perfect.
I think he'll get a
nomination.
Not a win, but I think a nom for sure. Maybe Tucci, do you think?
Tucci, maybe supporting actor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to see him get a nod. It was nice to see him in something a little more serious, too.
I agree. He's always playing someone's dad.
Or he's in the goddamn kitchen. Bitch, stop. Get back on screen. Put the pasta down. Please. Yeah. No more books.
But I gave this a 5. I loved it.
I gave it a 5, too. It was solid.
And I would watch this again.
Yeah. I absolutely will watch this again with other people.
Yeah.
Probably people over 30. Fair. Maybe even 40. My entire theater was older folks, which is how you know a movie is about to be gas.
Yeah, it was so fucking good. Everyone in the theater was older than me.
Yeah, you in the theater with senior citizens, you're in for a ride.
That's how you know it's an Oscar win.
It's about to be hot.
Yeah.
Yup. Hot. Loved it. I thought that was good. We'll definitely revisit this during festival season, I think. Or not festival season. Award season. Yeah. We'll be talking about this again, I think.
And go watch Conclave. It's really good.
Please do. Don't sleep on this. It's exciting. When you're done with We Live in Time and fucking Venom, go see this. Please. No shade to Venom. But if you want something a little more serious than those two, be sat for Conclave. A real performance, okay?
A real performance.
Thank you. Go watch Conclave.